Hi, this is Dana with Dana Digital Tutorials, and today I'm going to show you some tips and tricks that I use to make creating 40-ounce tumblers go really fast. When I use these techniques, I'm able to design a 40-ounce tumbler from beginning to end within about 5 minutes or less, and that includes the upscale portion. So I wanted to show you some equivalent ratios here so that it will make sense when we go into Midjourney. The top portion has been sized for the top portion of the 40-ounce tumbler, which if you look at it, you'll see it's 13 by 5.8. If I want to look at this bottom piece, it has been sized for the bottom, which is 10.5 by 3.7. But because I can't have Midjourney create in this staggered look, I'm going to have Midjourney create this large, and then I will crop it and size it back down. So my overall dimensions, if I go into my image size, which is up here under image size, or I use the shortcut Command Option I or Control Option I, you can see that my overall dimensions are 3900 by 3114. That's a little bit off from a square. I could have Midjourney or another AI that only does square create a square, but I do find that when I do that, I run into issues where my subject is going to be out of the area that I want. Now I could add more here in Photoshop and that would work as well, but a lot of times to make things go faster, I like to just have Midjourney do it the right size from the beginning. So let's go ahead and pop over to Midjourney. So I use those dimensions approximately. I did add a little bit of height just to give me a little bit of wiggle room. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to type that prompt. So here is our prompt, and you'll see it shrunk the numbers, it always does. You're going to do --AR, and then you would just come in here and you would type 3900, a colon, and exact would be 3114. But if I do that, sometimes when Midjourney shrinks those ratios, it might crop a little off the width or the height. So in order to work with that issue so that I can work as quickly as possible, I'm going to go ahead and just bump this up to 20. I moved it up by 6. It's not a lot. It's just enough to ensure that my height is got enough for me to crop off. I could also, like I said, design this in a square. It's just not as fast. And then I would just hit enter and I would get an image like this. Now if I take this image into Photoshop, let's go back over into Photoshop. We will be going back and forth a lot. I am going to get this. Now in order to quickly crop this in half, a little trick that I have is we're going to go into the marquee. We're going to hit M for marquee. You can also find it up here. But instead of using the normal ratio, we're going to use the fixed ratio. It only takes 3 numbers here. It won't take 4, so I'm just going to type 390 by 174, which is the dimension for the top. Now when I drag, it's forcing my marquee tool to stay in that ratio. And as long as I stay in my marquee box, I can drag this up and down to get where I want. And I want some of that white, so I'm going to go about here. And I can copy this, so Command C, and then I can hit Command N. And anytime I say Command, if you're on a PC, just replace that with Control. And you can see here that I have 3900 by 1740, which is the pixel dimension that I need for my tumbler. So I can hit V, and I can go ahead and flatten this, and then I can save this as a PNG using the method that I usually use. And this image is now the top, and as you can see, we have a whole lot going on there. Let's close that. You can see that this one's already resized. Let's pop back over to our design. The next step I typically like to do is a couple of options. I'll either drag a guide, which you have to have your rulers showing. If you don't see them, Command or Control R will hide and show them. You can drag this right down. If you don't want to work with a guide like this, you also could duplicate this layer and see that, but this is the fastest way, and I'm going with fast right now. So now I'm going to deselect Command or D, and I'm going to come up here and I'm going, first I have to change my ratio. So we want to be 315 for 3150 and 111 for the 1110, which is the ratio pixels for the bottom. So I'm going to then copy this section, and you can see I have run out of space. And the reason I have run out of space was because I cut too much off the top. So let's go back and redo that. So I'm going to do a Command Z. I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to go ahead and see how much I need for my bottom. So I'm going to hit the V button. I'm going to just slide, and my V button doesn't want to work. Oh, that's because I'm up there. So V, and I'm just going to slide this up to here. And we're going to recrop the top, so I will show you. But let's go ahead and crop this bottom section. So I'm going to Command or Control C. I'm going to do Command or Control N. You can see I have my ratio there. And then I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to flatten it. So I've used shortcut keys here. So paste is Command V, flatten is Command E if you don't have any hidden layers. And now Command or Control Option I. You can use the menu for all of that if the shortcuts are difficult for you. But I will tell you, if you want to get this under 5 minutes, you're going to have to learn your shortcut keys. So pause and write them down as I say them and start to learn them. Now we're going to change our width to the 3150. If we don't remember that number, we can come over here to inches, and we could change it to 10.5, which you'll see it is 3150, and it is by 3.699. Why is that? Well, because Photoshop can be funny. Let me show you. We're going to hit enter, and then we're going to go back into our image size, and you will see that it is actually 3.7. So if it's like with a 0.799 or 699, don't worry about it. When you hit enter and you go back in and you look, it will be the right size. Now I've already created in just a few minutes my top and my bottom while talking to you. What does it look like on a cup? Let's go look at it. So here is the design where I did cut it in half. And by the way, remember you would have to go back and recopy the top section so that you're cutting it in the right place. Let's go back over there. So I would just come back over and I would use my marquee and just select a new section for the top with the right ratio at the top. And then I would just paste it over this and save it. So this is what the finished product looks like. He's very cute. The cut is in the right place where it's not obstructing like his face or really important words. But what happens whenever a lot of your designs has words and it's putting words in the middle or it's putting faces in the middle? Well, I have another trick for that. So let's go back over into Midjourney. So we're going to close this one, and I'm not actually going to hit enter here because I've already done that. And let's go back up here. So in this image, I put in the ratio for just the top portion. So that would be 3900 by 1740, so 1740. And I got this image, and now you can see that my snowman is forced into the top, which I like. So if I didn't like, by the way, him off to the side, when we create our seamless wrap, we can move him wherever we want. That is okay. So I'm going to close that, and we're going to come up here and we're going to look at some of the bottoms that I created to go with this image. You could maybe pick like a brick pattern with these cute little Christmas trees, or maybe you want to go completely away from that and do some ornaments on the bottom with some snow. So these are two options. I'm going to show you the way those look. And by the way, you could make all three options as 3 different listings in your store or as a bundle. So you can see when I created the one with the wall, it gave me a different size brick. I personally don't like this in my artistic design, but you might, and that's okay, because artists need to pick what they like and what they feel comfortable with. So my next thought is to go to a coordinating pattern, and you can see this looks really good. Yes, the pinks are a little different in color, but you could use hue and saturation to adjust those pinks if you wanted to. That's a fairly easy thing to do. But what if I want my top to match my bottom like it did here? Well, let's go back into Midjourney and let's look at our edit. So if we come back down here to our little snowman and we go into the editor right here, we can drag this down. And you can drag it all different sizes, but you need to drag enough so you can pick your bottom. Once you get it like this, you don't need to change anything else. Typically, you want your subject to stop somewhere above the halfway mark line, and then you just hit submit. And I've already submitted this, so I'm not going to hit submit. And when you do that, you get these types of options. So you see here, I could pick these pink flowers if I wanted to. I could use the editor to maybe see if I could get these to not be blurry. There's the one with the snowball down here, which I think is kind of cute. But I just, for this video, picked the plain one. And I took it in and I went ahead and created the seamless and I created the upscale. So we're going to go back into Photoshop and we're going to look at that one. Let me see, where did it go? I'll have to open that for you. So let me go over here and let me find where I created it, and I don't see it. So apparently I did not save it when I created it. So let's go ahead and create it with you watching. So let's go into Google Chrome and let's copy this image. So I'm just going to right click, copy image. I'm going to go back into my Photoshop. It's on my clipboard, so Command or Control N, it's going to remember. And I'm going to hit enter and I'm going to paste it. And this is where I would go through. If you want to use my actions, you can do that to go ahead and make this a seamless on both sides. You would have to pick the action that's 40 ounce without a middle for this to work. Or you can do it manually, whichever way you prefer. But once you've done that, and we're going to pretend I've done that here, and you've upscaled it using the proper upscaler, which we're going to pretend I did that here too. I did not, but we're going to go ahead and just size it up for the quickness of this video. And we're going to do, I'm going to come in here and make sure it's at 300 dpi, just to make sure we have the right size. So let's go ahead and look at our pixels. Went back in there, and you can see my pixels are a little taller because I didn't have it exact when I drug it out. I did a little bit more than I needed, but that's okay because I created my subject separately. My subject is still in the right place. He's not cut off. So we're going to go ahead and hit cancel there, and we're going to use the same feature that we used before. We're going to go to marquee. We're going to change this to 390 by 174, because remember that's the ratio of the top, and we're just going to drag this. Now we won't run out of bottom here because I had extra, and you would copy this, and which is Command C. You would Command New. Remember, if you're on a PC, Command is Control, and you can see my copy didn't work here, so we're going to do that again. Command C. I have an issue with my Mac. Sometimes my shortcut keys don't work. I have to hit them 2 or 3 times. So that's just what's going on there. And now you can see that we are perfectly sized for the top. We did that very quickly, by the way. And you can see it's 13 by 5.8. And then we're going to go back over to our original one. We're going to drag our little guide down. And then we're going to change our ratio to 315 by 111, unselect what we have, and then go ahead and just select the area that is our bottom. And make sure I hit Command or Control C a couple of times so I know it worked. And we'll hit this and we'll enter, but it's too big. Remember when I resized it up to just kind of find my ratio? Well, now this is that sized up. I just need to size it back down. So Command Option I, and I'm going to go ahead and change this to 10.5. And you'll notice here it says 3699. Don't worry about that because it is going to correct. So watch, I'll hit enter. And if I go back into the image size, I can see that it did correct. And the reason is because I did not have resample selected. So I'm going to undo that change. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to resample and then change it to 13 or a 10.5 like that. And you can see my dimensions are exactly correct. So I'm going to hit OK. And if I go back in there, now instead of 3.699, which it likes to do sometimes, it is actually 3.7. So I would be able to save this quickly as my bottom, and I have my top. But what does it look like? Well, let's go look. So this is my finished product, where I have my snowman in the top portion, and I have the brick continuing all the way down. What I do love about this design is because that brick is so white, I could put a quote on here. There's all kinds of creative opportunities I have. I could add some holly over it if I wanted to. Just make sure that all of those stay seamless so that you have a fully seamless tumbler. So we're going to go back over here. If I had created this as a seamless, you're not going to see a seamless, but just pretend that it is. So let's undo that, and I'm just going to create a duplicate layer, Command or Control J, ×2. If I've got a seamless, I can actually drag him anywhere that I want. So this would have had a seamless here, and I would be able to flatten this, and then I can put my snowman wherever I want. So if I wanted him in the center on that cup, I could put him in the center. If I wanted him on the third with a quote, on the left or on the right, I could do that as well. So I really hope this tutorial helps you. And if you're interested in learning how to convert a 20-ounce tumbler design into a 40-ounce tumbler design, go ahead and subscribe to my email list below, and I'll send that tutorial to you. This is Dana with Dana Digital Tutorials. Have a great day.